Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. This is the Commission on the City Plan meeting for Tuesday, November 16th, 2021, 7 o'clock. It's a hybrid meeting, which we're in person and through Zoom. Just be aware that you'll be being audio and video recorded tonight. I'd ask when people speak if they state their name. And with that, I'll turn it over to you, Frank.
Thank you, Dan. So this is the Commission on the City Plan meeting, November 16th, 2021. We're calling it to order. We're doing a roll call and seating of alternates at this point. I will note that we have a quorum present, myself, Les King, and Michael Lahan. I want to note, well, I'll get to that in a minute. So we do have a quorum. There's three of us. So at this point, I would ask for approval of the minutes for the special meeting of October 12th, 2021.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Mike, I know you weren't at that meeting, but I think you can still second the motion for approval of the minutes.
The August 17th, you said? Which one?
The October 12th.
Oh, October 12th.
That's what I had on.
Yeah, but yes, but I need to add on another one too.
Okay. Mike, you there? Lahan? Mike Lahan? Do we have a quorum?
Muted.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay,
Can you
Mike.
hear me now?
I
Yes.
can. We can hear you now.
Okay.
So I was asking if you would second the motion to approve the minutes of the meeting of October 12th. Even though you weren't there, I think you can still second that motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
All
Second.
right. The motion and second, all in favor?
All right.
Right, okay, so those minutes are approved.
We do have a second set of minutes that we had tabled, and I'm sorry it's not on the agenda, so I'd like to add it to the agenda right now. Okay,
I'll make a motion to add the 8/17/2021 minutes to the agenda.
All
Second.
right. Okay, all in favor?
All right,
Aye.
So those minutes are added to the agenda, and could we have a motion to approve those minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of 8/17/2021.
I will
Okay.
second.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye,
Aye.
Okay, so the minutes of October 12th and August 17th have been approved. Under communications, there's nothing on the agenda, but I want to note we received a communication today from Swaranjit Singh, one of our members who was recently elected to the city council, and because of submitted his resignation to the Commission on the City Plan. So I would ask for a motion just to accept that communication.
I'll make a motion to accept.
Okay, so we have a motion
Second.
and a second, and all in
Can
favor?
that be a reluctant second?
Absolutely. Yeah, because that brings us down to just four members on the commission at this point. The three of us and Kathy Warzika. So we may have some issues making quorums for the next couple of months if the council doesn't appoint some people to fill these vacancies.
so if you have friends, let them know. We're looking for people.
Okay.
Right.
Thanks, Mike. All right, so that's communications. We don't have any other communications that I know of tonight. Under new business, we have Site Development Plan 1046, 165 McKinley Avenue Extension. It's a site plan review for parking improvements at Sheltering Arms Facility. It's the application and property of United Community and Family Services, Inc., Assessors Map 85, Block 1, Lot 35, Zone R40. So is there anybody here from the applicant to speak on this plan today, Kath? I mean, Deanna?
Yes, there is. Dave,
Sorry.
that's okay. Dave McKay is here. So Dave, I'll turn it over to you. Oh, and I have a site plan for us to look at. This is an updated site plan. He can put it on the screen.
So, Mr. McKay, are you there? Can you hear us?
Yes, thank you. And for the record, my name is David McKay with Boundaries LLC, here on behalf of the applicant and property owner, United Community and Family Services, Inc.
Thank you. So if you want to tell us about the project.
Yes, so Dan, I don't know what's easiest, if I share my screen or if you'd prefer to just flip through the sheets as I go along.
Sure, I can follow along with you if you want.
Okay.
You can just talk. Okay.
All right. So here's our cover sheet. This is for the Sheltering Arms facility. It's located at 165 McKinley Avenue, which is the intersection of McKinley Avenue and Rockwell Street. On the next sheet, we have our existing conditions and property survey. You can see there's 2 parking lots located on this property, with the building located in the center between the 2. The current situation at the site, the Sheltering Arms facility, is a residential care facility for retired people. And they have about 30 rooms in there. And based on the number of rooms that they have, the number of staff that they have, and the number of facility vehicles for vans to transport the residents to different appointments, they require a total of 37 parking spaces. And as it stands right now, there are 26 parking spaces on the site, split between the 2 parking lots, 5 on the northwesterly parking lot from McKinley Avenue, and the remaining 21 spaces on the southeasterly parking lot in Rockwell Street. And then also, I should say, there are 6 spaces in the middle, and those are intended to remain as part of this project and are not included on the site plans moving forward. So next sheet shows our proposed layout for the actually the demolition of the existing parking areas. The plan is to remove the existing pavement and then use that existing gravel, recompact it, fine grade it, and then expand the parking to accommodate the additional parking spaces required to provide the number of spaces the facility needs. As I mentioned before, the parking calculation comes out to 37 spaces, and our proposed improvements provide them with a total of 40 standard parking spaces plus 4 ADA accessible spaces. So on here, we have a little bit closer view of each of the parking areas that we're proposing to improve. On the northwesterly site, access from McKinley Avenue, right now there's 1 curb cut that then directs traffic one way around an island in the center of the facility. You can see the existing parking and curb as a lighter line weight underneath our proposed work. And we're proposing to continue the one-way circulation through this parking area. However, we are going to provide a curb cut for entering and a curb cut for exiting, which allows the parking and the flow pattern to be realigned, providing some space for additional parking spaces. So we'll maintain the 5 existing parking spaces in that area, and then add an additional 4 spaces on the northerly side, and then 3 spaces in the interior island.
131. Get 12 on this.
And then on the southeast site, access from Rockwell Street, 2 parts. One is basically reconstructing the existing parking lot where it sits now. And then there's adding another bay of parking to the east. And that bay of parking will have a one-way circulation, and that provides the vehicle access to those parking spaces, and then back out and around through the existing parking area. So that's the overall layout of the proposed improvements to the parking itself. Now, as part of that, we also have stormwater management improvements. On this sheet, we have the proposed grading, which for the existing parking areas is basically the same as it is now, and then just the additional grades required for the new parking area. And that generally matches existing conditions too. So very minimal cuts and fills for getting this parking area in. Next sheet shows our stormwater management. And the way we're accomplishing this on the site is through the use of small rain gardens adjacent to the parking areas and in the islands. And the purpose of the stormwater management is two parts: one for the stormwater quality leaving the site, and then the other for the stormwater quantity. These rain gardens are sized so that they capture 1 inch of runoff from the contributing parking areas, and that's going to be trapped on site and infiltrated into the ground. And the way we'll accomplish that is with a yard drain that will extend above the bottom of the rain gardens. And then those yard drains will stick up between 6 inches and 12 inches, depending on which garden we're looking at. Once they fill up, the excess water will flow into the yard drains and then through 6-inch diameter drain lines that are going to connect to adjacent drainage structures. In Mckinley Avenue, there's an existing flat top catch basin right next to our exit driveway. So the two rain gardens will connect to that structure with a 6-inch pipe. And then on the Rockwell Street, there's an existing yard drain to the rear of the property for the connection from our larger rain garden at the end of the parking space, and then an existing catch basin interior to the existing parking lot for the smaller rain garden. And those stormwater calculations were all reviewed by the city's engineer and got a sign off on those last week. That's how we're managing the stormwater on the property. And then here we have our lighting and landscaping plan. And the lighting is intended to be fairly limited, just to provide enough light for the new parking spaces and ensuring that there's no light trespass onto the adjacent properties. The light gray lines shown on the plan are the iso-illuminance contours. So outside of those lines, there's no light trespass. Similarly on the McKinley Avenue site as well. And then at the top of the page, we have just the cut sheet for the proposed lighting fixture. It's a period light post top, and that matches pretty similarly some of the existing lights that are mounted on the building for the sidewalks and that sort of thing. And then the last part of this proposed project is the landscaping. So those landscape features are mainly deciduous street trees that we're proposing along the sidewalk of McKinley Avenue and also spread along the perimeter of the rain garden there. And those species are all selected, recommended for rain gardens in wet areas. They tolerate the periodic inundation. And then similarly on the Rockwell Street side, there's street trees along the line of the parking lot, and then also a couple of new street trees within that rain garden area. And then along the right-of-way of Rockwell Avenue, we're proposing a short boxwood hedge just to help with any headlights that of turning vehicles turning into the parking lot and to block that view a little bit. The reason we're choosing rather low shrub for that area is to preserve the sight distance for vehicles exiting from our parking lot onto Rockwell Street. Keeping those lower shrubs there instead of a tree will allow any vehicle leaving the parking lot to see oncoming traffic from up the hill on Rockwell Street. So that is the lighting and landscape plan here. And then next sheet is our notes and details, the erosion and sediment control plans, and details for repaving and reconstructing the parking areas and the sidewalks, and then final construction details for the curb cuts, new signage and the drainage improvements and new light poles. So that takes us through our site plan. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
I have a really stupid question. Could you tell me exactly what you mean by a rain garden?
Yes, yeah, it's just a shallow depression in the island of the parking lot. So the runoff from the new paved areas will flow into that area. It's basically a miniature stormwater basin. And then it's seeded with a mix of wildflowers and non-mowed grasses. So that area can be kind of wet if that's how it ends up happening. But basically just all the runoff from the parking lot is going to go to one of these rain gardens or another to provide the treatment and detention before connecting to the stormwater system.
So everything's graded to the rain garden?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions, Les or Mike? Do you have questions?
No, I don't have any.
Yeah, I do have a question, Frank. This
Sure,
is
go
Les. The question I have is about 15 years ago, we had a big ribbon cutting over there for the big deck that they had put on the back of the building, a nice sitting area for the folks outside. Because most of the people are not able to get around except right within that site. And I guess at that point, it was considered a passive recreation area for the folks to have some place to go outside. It appears this parking is taking most of that land. Is that correct? Are decks being taken out? And
No, no, these areas that are part of the proposed improvements are right now just grassed areas, maintained lawns. I do have an aerial photo on my computer that I can share of the whole facility, if you're able to share the screen, Dan. Let's see.
Should be able to share yours now.
Okay. Is that coming up for everyone?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
So
All
could you
right.
show
So
what he's talking about?
So this is the overall view of the site. We have the northwest parking lot here under my cursor. And the proposed parking is going to be right in this area. And then over here is the Rockwell Street, the southeast site, and the proposed parking here. The recreation area, I believe, is this area immediately behind the building, where they have a very nice patio here and the deck spaces right here. So
Okay.
that will all be made.
okay, so that's going to stay as existing?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. That's good to hear because, yeah, a lot of folks that live there aren't able to get out and about. So to be able to go outside in a nice area is really important. The other question I had there was a comment. It may be covered later. I don't know about the entrances off of, I think it was McKinley Avenue and Rockwell going from 15 feet to 20 feet. Has that been taken care of?
Yes, yes. On this revised set of plans, you can see here we have the dimensions to satisfy the fire marshal's comments. 20-foot width for the entrance, 20-foot width for the exit, and then interior to the parking lot is 24-foot minimum.
Okay.
Zoning requirements. And similarly, here our entrance and exit from the new parking field are 20 feet.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Okay, no other questions. Deanna's going to go through her exhibits and information for
Yeah.
this application.
Perfect. So it was a very short memo. It was a well-designed project here. So you're still going, I just want to verify, they're still going to 44 spaces, correct?
Yes.
Yes, okay, that was what the original was. So even enlarging those areas didn't affect any of the spacing or anything like that when you enlarge those driveway accesses.
That's correct, yes.
Okay, just want to put that on the record. So, so the city engineer, reviewed drainage and the bond estimate, and he only had one comment to be addressed, and that was addressed. And, hold on, let me get to boundaries, here. And that the pavement match line on Rockwell Street should be adjusted to match the existing seam that is closer to the road, and that match line has been corrected. Norwich Public Utilities looked at this for Call Before You Dig, and, just want to make sure that they do that, and there's a note that's been added to the site plan about Call Before You Dig. That was the only comments of MPU. And then my comments, basically that, again, MPU, and then it was really about that the engineer should verify the proposed lights compliant with the outdoor light standards, and I think he did a good job explaining that. And then the caliper of the trees was 4 inches each, which, to be honest with you, I was pretty impressed with, that there were going to be such large trees, and I was pretty happy. And then when the revised plan came in, I will say I was a little disappointed that it went down to 2.5 because of the fire marshal wanting the wider access ways. The cost was prohibitive to get the bigger trees. Is that correct?
Yes, yeah, it's a fairly tight budget, so with even though it's only a small amount of pavement, that additional cost, we wanted to offset that. So the trees are now proposed to be 2 to 2.5 inch.
So a 2.5 inch caliper is about what size at height wise at planting? Is that about 8 feet, or is it taller than that?
I believe that would be about 6 to 8 feet.
6 to 8 feet. Can we push on closer to the 8 feet? Because when we say that, a lot of times the minimum planting is 6 feet, and what they'll do is they'll have the tip of it being at 6 feet, but it's really, everything's about 4 feet, and it just takes so long for it to grow. So if we can, just kind of encourage that the 2.5 caliper be, between 6 and 8, as big as we can be at the height, that would be helpful.
Okay.
The fullest part of it when they're dealing with the landscaper, just because, like I said, the tip is at 6 feet, but everything else is really at 4. It doesn't really help with buffering. Prior to the commission making determination on the criteria of 7.5.6, I do have some specific, the typical conditions of approval, and they were on here. The bond that was submitted, the bond amount that was submitted, which is $10,367.76. Do you know if that was revised based on, or your opinion, I'd like, because of the pavement that's been added, and do you expect an increased bond amount for that?
No, the bond estimate was just for the erosion and sediment controls and for restoration of the site with loam and grass seed. So it didn't include any cost for pavement. It just
no, I know. Do you think that because there's more site disturbance because of you're making it a little bit bigger as far as the width? Did you think that is there any increase in the erosion and sediment controls needed?
No, because the expansion of the paved areas actually worked interior to the project. So in order to overcome that, the rain gardens got a little deeper. Since they lost a little width, but the exterior is still the same.
Okay, because I didn't ask Brian about that. That was just something that Brian Long, I wanted to make sure that he was okay with the bond estimates. So based on your comments there, I think we're comfortable with the bonds amounts as they are in here. And there's the typical language about the Mylars and any kind of revisions that need to come back to the commission. So that's so I would ask, should the commission make a decision favorably, that they basically reference the comments on recommended conditions that are on number 5 of my memo, but everybody else seems to, everything was satisfied. The fire marshal looked at this today, and the comments was he was satisfied with the width and how it looks and everything. So everybody has checked it off. I think we're good to go.
Okay, with that, is there any other questions from the commission members or any other discussion? Hearing none, then I'll ask for a motion on this application then.
I move for approval of the site plan applications. I believe that it meets all the criteria of 7.5.6. And I would also make it a part of the motion that the 9 conditions listed in paragraph 5 of the planner's memo be a part of the motion.
Okay, so Mike has made the motion. Do we have a second, Les?
Yeah, I'll have a sec, I'll second that.
Okay, so a motion and second, all in favor?
All right,
Aye.
Aye. Therefore, the site development plan one, I'll get my glasses on and read here, 1046 is approved.
Thank you all for your time this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you, David.
yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay, so then moving on from that matter to other business, we have receipt of an application, special permit.
Yep.
21-03 and CAM number 21-03, Fort Falls Avenue. We've received the application and that's scheduled to be on the December 14th agenda.
Yep.
So I don't believe we need to take any action on that
You
tonight.
don't. It's just kind of unusual that the timing came in right before a meeting and there wouldn't have been enough time to do a full review of this. And plus we need to do that camp sending. So it's received officially tonight, and that's because of the time clock. So I just wanted it on your agenda so you'd know that we are going to have a meeting in December because we will have that public hearing for that application.
All right. And then we have another matter, the draft of the open space fee language on the subdivision regulations. It's been tabled a couple of times, but we're asking that a motion to table that again, since this is Kathy's particular interest and she's not here tonight. So if somebody would move to table that, I'd appreciate it.
So I'll make a motion to table that.
Okay.
I will second it.
The motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so that'll be tabled.
But that's the
Okay,
December.
I would also request if Dan or Deanna sees that this might actually be discussed at one of these meetings, that we have that they send us a copy of it again.
Yes.
Because I'm not sure that since the past few months I could find it again.
Okay, yep,
Yeah.
I have your comments. I did not put it in the format of the resolution. I just have your comments. I didn't put it in a format of a resolution or anything like that, because that's normally written up by the city, the attorney. But I just have it so we can at least discuss it. So we'll do that.
Okay. And you don't have that committed to memory, Mike?
Only the first half. I never got to the second.
Okay.
Okay. All right, and then we have another matter that is on the agenda tonight. It's to terminate approval of special permit number 1804 Cumberland Farms, Inc., which we approved back on June 19th, 2018. This is the approval of the plans for the Cumberland Farms at the corner of West Main Street and New London Turnpike.
Yeah.
Which we spent a lot of time on and
So,
apparently has been withdrawn at this point.
so Dan, I had Rich put that up. Can you pull that up on your screen? The termination paperwork that we received? The
Give me
order,
1 second.
okay. So I'll continue to talk while Dan's doing that. So it's kind of a moot issue at this point, because what happened was with the lawsuit with Savin in the city was obviously about the gas station approval. Well, because it was taking so long and a lot of other reasons, Cumberland Farms lost interest in this location, and they said, we're not going to do anything. And therefore their attorneys were, nope, that's not it. We're not interested in obviously pursuing it any further. So they kind of withdrew from the whole case because they were defending their actions because they wanted their gas station. And once they didn't, that's it. Thank you. It became sort of a moot issue. So at this point, according to Mike Driscoll, and if you want more time to read this is the order, and I can bring it up and I can read it if you want, but they basically that the motion of the plaintiff appellant filed September 14, 2021 to vacate the November 26, 2019 judgment of the Superior Court, the Judicial District of New London, with instructions to terminate special permit number 1804 issued by the city of Norwich on the city commission on the city plan. Corresponding site plan approval and Connecticut General Statutes 14-321 approval having been presented to the court is hereby ordered granted. See opinion released on the official website October 29, 2021, and in the Law Journal of November 11, 2021. So the instructions that the city, there's more to it that you can read. It's not very long, and it's on our website. The instructions we received from Mike Driscoll was for the commission to take formal action to terminate that approval. So what the language is, and I sent it to Michael today, was I'm looking for a motion to terminate special permit 1804 in accordance with the appellant court order on motion AC 212330 as referenced in notice issued on October 29th, 2021. So, and this will make that approval, a special permit runs with the land and allows that use to be, this takes that approval away so that, if someone wanted to do that gas station use there, they would have to start over again on that. So, but I would tell you though, that the variance that it was given by the ZBA, that was a moot issue because the regulations were changed and allow for, we removed those separation distances where they used to be. So that wouldn't even need a variance now. So that doesn't need taken care of. So it's really this matter of just that it's no longer would be able to be a gas station there without coming back to the commission with a special permit. I will tell you, there is an application that's going to be submitted shortly to the zoning officer for a proposal there. Has not been submitted that I know of yet, but it's for a car wash, and it falls underneath the criteria to come to the commission because of the number of parking spaces required and because of the size of the building. So this commission will not see that car wash application. So, and the car wash is only going to be on the portion of the site, which is where the old gas station was, because the other parcel, remember how that was the liquor store was gonna come down and all that. Well, that's not happening anymore because that gentleman doesn't own that. So the gentleman that owns the corner is looking at other proposals where he's not incorporating universal package store. So it's very tight there. So a car wash, it's allowed in the zone. That's all I'm gonna say.
All right.
So we're looking for that motion to terminate that special permit 1804 is what I had read.
Okay, I have a question if I could.
Yeah.
So the variance for putting a gas station on that corner is going to survive this or not?
No, the variance is moot now because it's allowed. The variance was because of the separation distances. Then the council changed the regulation and we got rid of the separation distances. So the variance is moot. So
if somebody came in and wanted to put a gas station there, they could.
They have to come with a special permit.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then, so this special permit, like this special permit, the site plan that's associated would go away, but the use of a special permit is on the land record. So it's basically removes that automatic approval of a gas station with a new design. Does that make sense?
Yes,
So-
absolutely. I just wanted to
Alright.
clarify. I thought that's what you said. I just wanted to clarify that.
Yep.
The next
No,
question, the next question was with the liquor store. There was no kind of contracting with the city or anything. That was just between Cumberland Farms and the liquor store.
Yeah,
And
that's
that is all just gone away.
gone away because that was them buying the liquor store and building. Remember the whole proposal. And it wasn't Cumberland Farms, but it was a separate owner, but they had Cumberland Farms was the developer and the applicant, but they were never the owner of the land, but they were contingent upon buying it if everything went through. And the other guy who was the owner was making the wheel and a deal and to build the new liquor store. Remember the separate building that was going to be the liquor store because he needed more room to be able to get Cumberland Farms to go there.
Right. Okay. So okay, I got that. So now the old gas station that is there is still owned by the old owner.
The same owner that was the owner when they were finding Cumberland Farms Cumberland Farms was
Right.
the property, same
Okay.
owner. But now it's so limited the size of that lot isn't that big. It was really, for something like a convenience store, you really need
Right.
all that other land.
Right. So it's back to the old owner. Is he the one that's going to propose a water or a car wash, or is there?
Yeah, yes,
Okay. I just wanted to clarify a little bit to make sure.
yes.
I know
Yeah.
who's still players in that corner of the world.
So it's Paula Granovich, is that his name, still owns his piece. And then this other gentleman, I can't think of his name at the top of my head, but he was a gentleman that was, like I said, wooing Cumberland Farms and wooing Paul to try to get them together so he could make the deal happen for all of it. But he's got that corner piece, and, he's paying taxes on it, sitting there, and his whole plan was, fell apart kind of, because of the court case, and Cumberland Farms was not going to keep fighting it, and they just lost interest and they backed out of the case. So.
Okay, thank you.
So Savin got exactly what they wanted just by waiting them out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
What a
absolutely.
shame.
All right, so do we have a motion then to terminate the approval as per the information from Deanna?
You make the motion, Les, because I don't want it.
So is this a motion to accept, or is this?
No. It's a
No,
motion to
terminate.
terminate the approval that was granted, the special permit approval.
I think it's a motion made to terminate pursuant to the order of the appellate court.
Yep.
Okay, is that terminate or vacate?
No, the
Terminate.
language terminate.
Yeah, can you bring that a little closer?
Yep.
So the order of the appellate court reads, the motion of the plaintiff appellant, who is Savin Gasoline, filed September 14th, 2021, to vacate the November 26, 2019 judgment of the Superior Court for the Judicial District of New London, with instructions to terminate special permit number 18-04 issued by the City of Norwich Commission on the City Plan,
Right.
corresponding site plan approval, and Connecticut General Statutes 14-321 approval, having been presented to the court, it is hereby ordered granted. So that means that the court granted the motion to terminate the special permit. And that's what we're doing, or asking the commission to do tonight.
Yeah, and I read through that and I understand all that. We're directed to terminate, or we're directed to.
Yeah, we're being told to terminate it by the appellate court, basically.
Right. I read through all of that and it was confusing because, they're telling, we have no choice but to accept what they're telling us to do.
Correct.
Okay.
I don't
We're
think we do have a choice.
And but the city kind of feels, I can tell you from the city's standpoint, it's kind of moot because the applicant's gone.
Yeah,
Right.
So it's, they're not coming back. So it's moot in that sense. The site plan that was associated with is not going to be built out unless Paula Granovich decides to do the exact same thing. So no one, and right now, he's not sold out to the other gentleman. He's not willing to. So it's not, that site plan is kind of moot at this point anyways, because no one's going to be able to build that exact out.
yeah, they would have to come back with all new plans.
Right. Okay, well, I'll put the motion out to terminate then our special permit number 18-04.
Okay.
I'll second that motion, but I'd like to ask, when it talks about vacate the judgment of November 26, 2019, does that mean Cumberland Farms won at the trial level? And then
Yes,
It
they
got-
did. Yes, they did.
then it got appealed?
I guess.
Dan, can you go to the
guess,
next page on that? Because this might have more information there.
Yeah. The write-up by the court said that they did win. It's just then they lost interest and are terminating. Or
Yeah.
vacating. So
Yeah.
but they did win. Cumberland Farms did win.
Well, we won, not even Cumberland Farms, we
Well,
won.
I should say the city won. Yeah, absolutely. So we did win. As far
Yeah,
as.
we prevailed on all the legal points.
Yeah.
But because of the lack of interest of the plaintiff at interest, Cumberland Farms, to pursue the matter, the court is saying just vacate the judgment in accordance with the plaintiff's request.
Yeah.
because nobody's acting on it.
That's it.
Well, we'll see if Savin objects to the car wash across the street because they already have one.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
And just so you know, yeah, they would have to appeal the issuance of the zoning permit. And, the first time they see when it's, it could be when it's under construction, I mean, because it's not something that, if I was the person, once he gets the zoning permit, the way the land use law is, you have, if you don't put something in the newspaper when you get a zoning permit, and someone's aggrieved by it, they can't be aggrieved if they've had notice. So if you put a notice in the newspaper that I got a zoning permit for a car wash, and 30 days go by and nobody aggrieved that issue of the zoning permit, you've done your homework and you've done your responsibility. But my understanding in the courts, if there's someone, all of a sudden you get a zoning permit and 2 years down the road, you decide to start the construction of the car wash, let's just say in this instance, a car wash. And someone says, well, the first I learned about this was when the building was going up. I was in Florida and I saw it when I came back. Then you have an issue on your hands. So what we do instruct people is, when they get zoning permits, is if they have a controversial neighbor or something, is do your due diligence and put the legal notice in the newspaper, that issuance that you got a zoning permit and you've done your notification. So, but yeah, but you're right, I didn't even think about, they have a car wash too, huh?
Yeah, they do. All right, so we have a motion and we have a second. Is that correct, Michael?
Yes.
Okay. Any other discussion? There being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
None opposed, so the motion to terminate is granted.
Thank you.
All right, then we have no extension requests, no bond reduction or release requests. Do we have a staff report this
I'll
month?
do a really quick staff report. We've been super busy. First thing, I want to congratulate Dan Deniska, who passed his American Institute of Certified Planners exam yesterday.
Congratulations. Dan.
Congratulations.
Hey, congratulations.
Did you get
Yeah.
a raise?
Thank you.
Did you get a raise, Dan?
I'll defer to Deanna on that.
We're gonna try. So it's worth it. That's a really challenging exam. It's the highest exam in our profession. So I'm really proud of Dan for doing that and passing it on his first try, because it's a hard one. So good for him. The second thing is we applied for several grants recently. I just thought I'd give you some updates on that. So the 8th Street, the park that's over there, that's across from on 8th Street, where the MPU kind of maintains, and there's that little, what's I'm going blank, Dan, what is it called right there?
By Goran's up there?
Dan, what's the name of that, like 8th Street Park there?
Does it have an official name?
It's like the green, where the
Kind of the
dam,
Setauket Greenway?
walk down there, the little green,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So several years ago, the city applied for a grant to extend that further, and actually Preston supported it because they have some open space on the other side there, and it would be really nice. And we didn't get the grant. We scored the top of the middle, not the highest ranking, but they have looked at those criteria and changed the scoring. And so distressed communities and areas of need get more points. So the same exact application would now be a high priority for them. So we did resubmit that to DEP, and with the support of MPU, it is MPU land there. And so that's been submitted. I feel really positive about that for that section of the city. I think that would be really nice. And it will have a bike loop in there, and which will be nice for families. The second thing is we applied for DECD grant for Brownfield's remediation for the YMCA property, and submitted that. And we're waiting to see if we receive that. We did some work with the EPA grant there at the YMCA, expended some money there. And we were hoping to be able to get money to potentially, help with the cleanup of that site. That is out for RFP right now. The deadline for submission proposals for the YMCA is the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. I think it's the 23rd. There's been, I think, quite a bit of interest as far as people downloading the applications and, looking at things on it. And we're hoping to have a few applications of projects. So we're going to pick hopefully, I don't know who's on the committee, or we haven't determined that yet. But when we get those requests for proposals back to look at the most vibrant type of uses there, what will be benefit that the most. So we're anticipating we're going to help with the cleanup. So we put in for the grant for DECD, which is eligible for demolition as part of that. So if somebody wants to get that property for new use, then hopefully if we get that grant, that will help with the demolition and remediation there.
How much is the grant request?
I want to, Frank, you know what? I'm drawing a blank because we're doing another grant too. I want to say it was $1 million, maybe right under $1 million, 800,000. I want to say 800,000. I want to say 800. For some reason that sticks in my head. But then we're also applying for another 650,000 through the Environmental Protection Agency, the federal agency, for the same property, for the YMCA. That one, you are not allowed to use money for demolition. So that one is purely for remediation, to adapt or reuse a building. So, you know, we're going to be submitting that. We're working with UConn students who are preparing that application through their program there. And that's due December 1st. So there's a chance we could get both. There's a chance we could get one. There's a chance we couldn't get either. But if we did get both, what we could do is in the development proposal is something that would require demolition, is we would use the DECD money for that end of it and use the EPA money for the other remediation, because they can't pay for the demolition of part of the one from the state of Connecticut. So we're hoping, like I said, to get some great applications there. The hotel across the street, that little mini, the old Majestic Rose, is moving forward. And it's been very slow during COVID. Everything kind of got stopped. But I talked to Kevin Brown and from NCDC, and that is moving forward. So, you know, we really want that corner to have some cohesive things there and some activities. So we'd like to have something vibrant if people are staying at the hotel, to maybe have some food, something there. We'll see what the proposals are. There's a lot of money coming from the federal government we have a Connecticut, we have a community challenge grant of quite a bit of money. I think it's up to $10 million that we can ask for a big challenge grant. So it's due very soon. So there's a lot of discussions about what the city could apply for that. There's just infrastructure money coming out. So I've been spending a lot of time working on grant applications and doing that. So I'm really grateful for Dan now that, especially the test is over. So he'll be really probably handling a lot more work for the commission than I am, just because of the workload and different type of tasks that I've been working on. Dan, anything? Anyone have questions first?
Deanna, can you tell me why the YMCA is a brownfield site?
There's a lot of issues there. It's got a bunch of hazardous material inside of it. So yes, asbestos, the tile, there's all kinds of things. So there was a gas station associated with that property many, many years ago on that site. So
Really?
I don't think that we have so much soil contamination there, but we did spend money with the EPA grant to do investigations, but it's mostly the building itself.
Mostly the inside.
But it can be encapsulated depending on what you do on some of that remediation. So if somebody wants to save the building, and I understand there is at least one application that's going to come in for adaptive reusing the building, and they've been in there a couple of times to look at it. So we'll see what we get for applications. I'm hoping for something good there.
I'm hoping for anything there.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
the city did finally get possession of the Cassidy House, which is on Washington. Do you know, is everyone familiar with Dr. Cassidy's house? So that just literally came into our hands. It took a while to evict the woman that was there, and we finally got it in our hands. And we'll probably be doing. I'm working with the purchasing department and public works to do a RFP for that site. I think we want to be very careful. It falls in our Chelsea Central District. So it actually falls in the boundaries of having potential commercial use there. It's got more potential than just being a residential house. And I mean, it doesn't have a lot of parking area, but there's some parking in the back that could work there. But I want to make sure that it's very historical, that it gets, we don't just sell that off and have somebody put, vinyl siding on it and not take care of it. So we're going to be very careful of how we deal with that particular property.
But what property is that again? Deanna?
That's the Cassidy House on Washington.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, gotcha. Yep.
Washington Maple, I want to say it's Maple or
Yeah,
something.
they're across Huntington. also.
Yep. So, let me see what else is
Isn't
going on.
that-
Uncas Leaf is out.
Didn't that woman, didn't the owner of that place, before we had such a thing as GoFundMe, she was advertising for people to give her money so that she could continue with the restoration. So people gave her funds. I mean, that's how the porch got replaced out there. But other than spending anybody else's money, she never did another thing.
I don't know. I just,
That
but
was
so,
before your time.
yeah, so the city has it now and we're gonna make sure that it gets, hopefully redeveloped well. We also moved forward with consultants for the Uncas Leap project to do the final design, actually, because we had the master plan, but we need to do the site design, hearing plans. And we were provided ARP money of $1 million. The project's about $2.1 million to finish. But we're gonna see if we can get the estimates done and perhaps use some more ARP money for finishing the Uncas Leap from a tourism standpoint for the city. So trying to think if anything
Anything
else.
going on with Reed and Hughes?
Reed and Hughes. No, I don't really have an update for you on that one. So anyone else have questions about any of the projects or next month you will be, or the next 2 months, like probably in January, you'll have an application in January for the South Mill at Panema for development.
Yeah, that sounds good. One thing I'd like to add, just an observation, the roundabout or whatever you call it
Yeah.
down is working out great. Everybody likes it as far as I've heard. So it's really upgraded that whole area.
You've been
Yeah, I
talking
like
to
it too.
people than me.
Oh, stop it.
No, I've heard a lot of gripes about it.
It's beautiful and it works great.
Yeah, I think
I
it
think it
works.
works great too.
People say, oh, nobody's gonna stop anymore in Norwich, like
That's not
that
true.
area was causing people to stop there in the first place.
Yeah.
Um,
No,
No, I think it's a smooth ride through there too.
yeah. So, and then, like I said, there's just lots of little projects going on. And then NCDC got some money through the art program too, to do the vanilla box program. So they'll be doing some, basically building out the interiors, working with some of the owners of properties downtown to finish out and make them tenant ready. We call it vanilla box, making a tenant to meet all the codes so that we can get people in buildings. Because we hear complaints about the vacant buildings downtown, but the vacant because of a lack of interest is the owners aren't making the repairs to make it tenant ready. So if we can make those spaces tenant ready, I'm telling you, we'll probably fill a lot of those. So there is.
Is that just downtown for that vanilla box project?
No, the vanilla box, it's going to be citywide.
Yeah,
Well,
okay. That's what
Right now, it's focused on down.
But yeah, the focus really is there because that's what people notice the most
That's where
about.
the empty space is mostly.
So I
Okay.
think that's my report. Dan, do you have anything to add?
Nope, not at this time. I think you captured it all.
You're so
Good
good.
man, Dan.
I know.
Anything else to come before the commission tonight?
Move to adjourn.
Second,
Move to adjourn, seconded, all in favor?
all right.
All right.
So we're adjourned at 7:56.
Okay,
Thank
so Dan, congratulations again.
Yeah, congratulations, Dan.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Yeah,
guys,
that's
for
great.
coming tonight.
And thanks, Melinda, for doing the minutes. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye, guys.
Happy Thanksgiving,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
All right.
And happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Ah,
And
you too.
we'll see you in December.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
too. Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.